Thanks, Heather. I'm glad I got to be called to do this week. Next week, I'm going to be out of town. My nephew won his Little League tournament for the entire state of Virginia, so I'm going to be watching a whole lot of baseball this time next week, so I'm glad to be here right now. I did want to start with a visual aid, so I'm a little bit ahead of you on the props. This is the key to the city of Memphis. I got this from a client whose mayor used to be, her father used to be the mayor of Memphis. This was about 100 years ago, and he was the political enemy of Boss Crump. So I'm going to pass this around. Don't get any ideas. I'm sure Boss Crump changed a lot, but I do want to show you. It said that a good lawyer knows the law, but a great lawyer knows the judge. And that's what I've endeavored to do. My roots in Memphis have been very deep. I was called for jury duty this time a few months ago, and the judge that I was called to serve with was my scoutmaster when I did scouts in the 2nd grade. So I guess he didn't have to sit on a jury. And a few weeks ago, I was in a judge's courtroom. The judge decides to bring her dog to the court right now. So I wants to make sure to be friends with the dog. So I made sure to take a picture of the dog, and I complimented her on the UT betting. And 5 minutes later, I was in front of her courtroom, won my case. No surprise there. I actually have a picture of the dog that I'm going to bring around. Definitely not a Kelly. But in all seriousness, knowing the judge means that you have a fairly predictable outcome. You know what's going to happen, or you have a very good idea as to what happens. As soon as somebody comes in and thinks they might have a case, I have a very good idea as to whether or not the outcome will actually be that way. And when you know the judge, you know how to convince them. I do make it a priority to get to know them. The Memphis Bar has a program. We meet out of town and we interact with the lawyers and judges. I make sure to do that. But most of you know that I went to law school at Tulane in New Orleans, and a lot of you might know that the law in Louisiana is different from the other 49 states and probably anywhere else on the face of the earth. But it's very good training for me, because what I learned to do, I learned how to think like a lawyer. That means you pay a lot of attention to detail. You learn to analyze. When somebody tells you a story, you can piece that story together, and you can tell exactly how to help them. And you can distinguish a good argument from a bad argument. You see ambiguity in just about everything. It's a great way to think as far as servicing my clients. It's not such a good way to think in personal interaction. So if you catch me thinking like a lawyer in our normal everyday life, you have the freedom to slap me. Now, I think that those of you who are members know that in listening to my 45 seconds, I do have a diverse practice. But really, it's just a variation of the same thing of thinking like a lawyer. I always know how to find the answer. If I don't know the answer right away, I know how to find it, and I know people. I think a common theme of my practice is that I'm a people lawyer. I do tend to represent people throughout whatever struggle they're having with life, rather than any sort of practice area. But it actually does help. It's been said that to a person with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So when you know how to do several areas of the law, you can see how everything interacts. I had a client a few years ago who needed a divorce, but it turned out that she also needed a conservatorship, and she also needed to get Social Security disability benefits. And it was good for her that she was able to do it all in the same place. A lot of my clients are both divorced and bankrupt. So I really do help them get a fresh start. The bankruptcy part probably kills them as far as finding another chance for love, at least for a few years. Since the last time I was up here, I've had a good number of personal injury cases, and I've had some very nice settlements. I had a settlement for $275,000. I had another one for $100,000. I've had one for $50,000. These are all good for me. These were some of them personal injury, some of them breach of contracts. But I got paid on contingency, so I've had some very nice paydays in the last time that I've been here. And what's really good for you, besides taxes, I really haven't spent any of that money. It sounds like it wouldn't have any effect on you, but it does, because when you're able to live the way that I do, you can practice law the way it was intended to be practiced. I'm not the kind of person who's going to build time just so I can feather my own nest. I'm not the kind of person who's going to accept a quick settlement. I can wait. I'll work. I'll work very hard and be fair. And it also means that I'm about as flexible. I know very few other lawyers who are as flexible as I am as far as how I get paid. If I think that they're going to pay me, I will work with them. I have clients that pay me $100 every month. They've been paying me for a very, very long time. But they came to see me. I was glad to help them in their hour of need, because they were able to. I was able to help them when nobody else would give them a chance. Sometimes I discount my fee if I really think somebody needs help and I think they're worthy of getting service, and I just think that they're about to get screwed. I can step in. I can help them out. Now, as far as referrals for me, a lot of it. Sometimes I feel like an automobile mechanic in that you can pay me now or you can pay me later. But what I do some preventative things, and I also do I also help people when they're in crisis mode. People that I really want to help out are who would be good referrals for me are people who are either adding family members or subtracting them. So people, I do manage to hit all the life changes. A lot of you are looking for referrals when you have their life changes, and I'm very much the same way. People who are starting families, they're the people who really need to get their will and estate plan lined up. But when you die without naming a trustee, you're at the mercy of the courts. So good tier threes for me are people that I work with, and this is a very mutual situation. I work very well with financial advisors. Almost any CPA would be good. I deal in a lot of the states, and a lot of the stuff that might be too complicated for me might be right up Bobby's alley. So I really do work very well with CPAs, but believe it or not, I do like working with lawyers. I like meeting them, and in just about any other context than the courtroom. Lawyers are fairly reasonable people, and they're they're out there to help you. So the business has been very good for me. In the past year, at the moment, I'm more about doing what you need. I'm about helping you. So if we haven't sat down for a one-to-one recently, we can do that. How much time do I have left?
30 seconds.
30 seconds?
You looked at me and I said 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah, now you got 30 seconds.
You're done.
So I timed it pretty well. Does anybody have any questions for me?
You hate working in market?
I'm indifferent to them. I should put together my own sheet for what the insurance companies have offered versus what I actually ended up getting. I don't have any personal issues with them. It's sort of unfair because they're a huge law firm, so when you hear them say that they've gotten tons of verdicts, it really isn't fair because they have lawyers all over the world. And by the way, John Morgan is not a Tennessee attorney, so I know for a fact he will not be helping you in Memphis.
Last question, you say that you are licensed in other surrounding states or just?
I'm licensed in Mississippi as well.
Thank you.